You're about to listen to an English story that can teach you more than you think. Without studying, without grammar books, and without boring lessons, you'll start learning real English. Naturally, easily, and with joy. Every word, every structure, and every expression will slowly become part of you. That's the magic of stories. So, if you're learning English and want more videos like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. New stories are coming every day. This one is special. Let's begin. It was a warm, quiet afternoon when he stepped out of his apartment, feeling a strange pull to go somewhere, anywhere, without a real reason. His name was Reza. He lived in a city that always moved fast, where everyone looked down at their phones or hurried past each other like time was running out. But that day Reza had no plan. He just walked. He passed the small bakery where the smell of warm bread usually made people stop. He passed the bookstore he used to visit when he was younger, now half empty and forgotten. He didn't stop. His feet moved slowly and his eyes moved slowly as if searching for something he couldn't name. Then, as he turned into a narrow, quiet street, he noticed a man sitting alone on a bench near a row of trees. The man looked very old. His face had deep lines and his back was curved, but he sat calmly, holding a wooden cane with both hands and staring at the ground as if it held memories. Reza felt something in his chest. A question. A need. He didn't know why, but he walked toward the bench and sat at the other end. The old man didn't look up. He just stayed still. And so Reza sat beside him. Not speaking. Not thinking. Just listening to the wind in the trees and the quiet rhythm of the city in the distance. After a few minutes, Reza turned his head slightly and looked at the man. He had a strange feeling like this person had lived through something big, something important. He didn't speak, but he wished silently for the man to share his childhood. Not because he was curious about history or about the past, but because something told him that hidden inside that man's early years was a story he needed to hear. And then, without a word being spoken between them, the old man slowly lifted his head. He didn't look at Reza, but his eyes moved with something new, like the air around them had changed. He began to remember. And Reza began to listen, not with his ears but with his imagination. He saw a small village far from the city. A place where roads were made of dirt and the nights were dark but full of stars. In that village, a young boy with wild hair and fast legs used to run up and down the hills, chasing chickens and jumping over streams. That boy lived in a simple house with a big garden and a dog that never barked. He helped his father carry water in heavy buckets and helped his mother pick herbs from the back of the house. He didn't go to school every day because sometimes the rain turned the road to mud. But he learned to read from an old book with missing pages, and he counted using small stones lined up on the floor. He had a best friend, a boy who lived 2 houses away. They built things from wood and broken tools. One time they made a kite that flew so high it disappeared. They waited for it to fall back, but it never did. That day they promised each other to fly even higher one day. The old man's memory showed Reza all of this. Then one summer the boy's father left to find work in the city. He promised to return soon. Days passed. Then weeks. Then months. The boy began to count the stars each night, thinking maybe the stars knew something he didn't. But the father didn't come back. The garden grew wild. The dog grew old. The boy grew quiet. One evening, after many silent dinners and slow walks to the edge of the village, the boy took his friend's hand and said he wanted to find the city. He wanted to find his father. They packed bread, water, and a small piece of cloth with their names written on it. They left before sunrise. Reza could almost feel their steps, soft and unsure, moving through hills and trees, hiding from people who might stop them. The journey was hard. They got tired. They got wet in the rain. They ate cold bread and drank from rivers. Sometimes they asked for help and kind strangers gave them shelter or warm soup. One morning after walking for many days, they arrived at the edge of the city. It was loud. It was fast. It was full of strange smells and strange faces. The boys held each other's hands tighter. They began to search. They looked in construction sites, in markets, near factories. The boy carried an old photo of his father. He showed it to anyone who stopped to listen. Most people just shook their heads. One evening, near a bridge, a man with a kind face told the boy he had seen someone who looked like his father. He pointed toward a street filled with lights. They ran, and there he was. The father was older, thinner, and wearing clothes covered in dust. But when he saw the boy, he dropped the tools from his hands and ran, arms wide. The memory didn't need words. Reza could feel the moment, the quiet kind of happiness that doesn't need to shout. The three of them returned to the village weeks later. The friend stayed in the city. He found work, started a new life. But the boy and his father built a new house, smaller but warmer. The garden grew again. The stars returned to their place. The boy grew up and never forgot. The old man on the bench had finished remembering. He didn't speak. He didn't look at Reza. But Reza's chest felt full.